ज्योत जगावो, जीवन ज्योत जगावो प्रभु हे, जीवन ज्योत जगावो.
Good morning, this is Elvis coming to you from Gurjarvani studios. Remember, a short while back I had uploaded a video on the renovation work happening at the cemetery. Those who have not seen that, I suggest you do. Not many saw that video and wanted to know more about this man, Father Joyce. So today I have him right close to me. You will have a taste of him, his story, his insights to your questions on how, why, when, and what latest developments are happening at Ground Zero, the cemetery. Father, very good morning.
Good morning, Elvis.
So nice to have you over here. Thank you so much for taking out time and sitting through this. To begin with, tell us something about yourself and your areas of operations.
Okay. So I am Father Joyce Panadan. Right now I am the parish priest of St. Ignatius of Loyola Parish, Ahmedabad. I came to Gujarat in 1987 and I was ordained a Jesuit priest 20 years ago. I worked for 10 years in North Gujarat. Later, I was sent for my doctoral studies in theology. I completed my doctorate in systematic theology from the Pontifical Institute for Theology and Philosophy in Pune. After completing my doctorate in theology, I was asked to be an associate lecturer of theology in the same institute where I studied. I was interested in theology and therefore I like teaching, but I was not very comfortable being a full-time academician. I wanted to be more in touch with the people, and pastoral ministry is supposed to be one of my favorite ministries. And so I requested that along with my teaching of theology, I would like to be in a parish doing pastoral ministry. And that is how I came in 2015 to St. Saviour's Parish, Ahmedabad. So my areas of specialization first is theology, pastoral ministry, and I am also involved in giving a lot of retreats to priests, nuns, and lay people. And fourthly, because I teach theology, I also do, or I used to do quite a lot of writing, published 2 books.
Oh.
One book is titled Mission in North Gujarat, The Way Ahead. The second book is actually my own doctoral thesis. It is titled as Inculturation and Local Church. I have also published a good number of articles in different journals, national, international, participated in many national and international seminars. So that is another area of my expertise, my interest.
Oh, that's so many facets to your personality, and there are so many hats to juggle with. And you really put it very nicely. Recently, you have been transferred from St. Xavier's College Parish to St. Xavier's Loyola Parish, and the cemetery falls under the purview of Mirzapur Parish. Doesn't fall under your domain, doesn't come under your scope of work. But still, how and why did you want to renovate that place?
My immediate answer is it is my own personal interest. But there is a context to it. First of all, I am used to seeing cemeteries well maintained. 5 years ago, when I went to our cemetery, looking at the state of our cemetery, I felt very disheartened. Somewhere there was a call within me to take up the project of the renovation of the cemetery. But I did not have the confidence. I was still new in Ahmedabad. But I expressed my desire to renovate the cemetery not by myself, but at least the need to renovate the cemetery was expressed to the people in different WhatsApp groups. I went to the extent of saying that please don't bury me until the cemetery is renovated. And I also reminded the people that it is important that we maintain our cemetery. That is a way by which we show our respect for the departed souls of a family.
Right.
And somehow this idea was also understood by the people, and people began to show some interest. So that is the beginning of this renovation project 4 years ago. but it had not taken any concrete shape. To take or to give it a concrete shape, I wanted to create a support system. So I began talking about it to different priests, different lay groups, and so on. And Catholic Association of Ahmedabad was interested in this project. I think they had also tried to renovate the cemetery earlier, but things did not pick up. So when I met the Catholic Association of Ahmedabad, the representatives, I also grew in my confidence. Then the idea was presented to the Bishop Ratnaswamy. Personally, he was very much interested, but he wanted the approval of other bishops. So after getting the approval of other bishops, the bishop gave us the first green signal. Now, to give it a concrete shape, we had to have a number of meetings.
Sure.
Meeting with the lay associations, meeting with the clergy, the religious, and so on, because somehow this idea is to be now sold to the people. So we had a number of meetings. A concrete project was shown to the people and the clergy. After a lot of meetings, it was approved. This project had 6 stages. I was primarily relying on the Catholic Association of Ahmedabad. They completed the first stage of the project, that is constructing a washroom, creating better water facilities, and so on. Later, the project came to a standstill.
Yes, it didn't gather or it didn't take off. What happened?
I have no clue as to what really happened. Probably there were certain challenges that they experienced, due to which they were not able to take it or carry it forward. And I was busy with many other responsibilities, and I couldn't show so much interest either. Personally, I did not have the confidence to take up this project because I am not very good in managing these sort of practical things. That's where I thought the lay people are much more confident. So for some time, nothing was happening. But then again, I think the
Yes,
Lord...
setbacks and failures, they say, are the stepping stones to success. You were not deterred on your initial setback, but you reignited yourself. And this time you went all by yourself, putting your neck on the block. Tell us something, how you did that.
So I think the Lord spoke to me again in the month of December 2020. When I say the Lord spoke to me, I felt again that call from within. And I expressed my desire to take up this project to Father Jerry Sequeira, who was at that time the Dean of Ahmedabad. Because the first project did not really pick up, somewhere within me I felt that there is no need to form a big committee right now. With the support of the people, I can take up this project. So I was not very keen to form a committee. Personally, I believe that if you want to do something creative, do it. If you want to postpone the work, form a big committee, because sometimes too many committees make it more complicated. So I expressed my desire to the dean, and the dean told me that he has to discuss that with the other parish priest. During the Christmas celebration of all the parish priests, along with the bishop, Father Jerry proposed this matter once again. I explained to the group what I wished to do. At that moment of time, it was just renovating or repairing the 4 walls of the cemetery. All the priests were very enthusiastic, and they gave me the right to begin the work. So this was the second stage.
Okay. Finance is a very, very important and plays a very key role from the start to the finish of the project. I remember you shooting out a WhatsApp message on requirement of the funds, and it was met spontaneously and a very overwhelming response on the collections. But there was no second calls on the church collections. There were no major sponsorship, but people came forward to contribute to this great cause. Tell us something about how you were able to manage this much money.
See, my name is Joyce. Joyce is a shorter version of Joseph. Joseph in Hebrew means God provides.
Oh, really?
So I believe that if you want to do something good, God will provide. So money should never be a problem if at all we are doing a project that is pleasing to God and for the well-being of the people. So that faith and that confidence I had as far as finance is concerned. Of course, we need to be realistic and practical. So soon after the project was approved by the priest of Ahmedabad and the bishop, I began writing in different WhatsApp groups, appealing to the people for money. Initially, I was wanting to get just 10 lakhs of rupees. But later I realized, after hearing from lay people, that it is better to construct the 4 walls instead of just repairing it. That would mean about 30 lakhs rupees. Along with that, a small chapel, little bit of a pathway and so on. Then I requested the bishop to write a letter to all the parishes. Bishop wrote that letter, and that letter was read out in different parishes. Meanwhile, I also wrote to different institutions in Ahmedabad, Catholic institutions, all the convents, all the religious houses. And some institutions came forward supporting this project. Some institutions did not respond at all. That, of course, made me a bit sad, but that is okay, part of this kind of project. But Bishop's letter was also accepted by the people, and people began to pour in money. To my great surprise, I began to get more money than necessary.
True.
So if you remember, there was a time when I wrote to the group saying, we don't need more money. If we need more money, we will get back to you.
Very true, very true. So tell us something about the challenges that you had to face. I remember you just started it and the entire wall on the right-hand side caved in. Tell me, there would be so many challenges. Tell us something about those challenges and how did you overcome them?
Many challenges. It's good that you reminded me of the collapse of the wall. Soon after I proposed this project for the jury, this wall collapsed. We had not envisaged that, but it happened. And therefore, everyone in Ahmedabad began to realize the urgency of this project. And because of that, I think I got greater approval and encouragement and support from the people. The first challenge was to make a legal agreement with the builder on the other side, who was primarily responsible for the collapse of the wall.
Okay.
There again, I realized that I am not very good in dealing with builders of this kind. And therefore, in the meeting itself, I told for the jury, the bishop and the priest that if another committee can be formed to have a legal deal with the builder, that will be nice. So for the jury, Samuel Babu, Francis Lobo, our contractor, and Father Rajkumar, the parish bishop of Mirzapur, they together formed a committee. They met the builder. They made an agreement. It wasn't a legal agreement, but they did make an agreement on a piece of paper. And then getting the work done through the builder was very challenging. They had agreed to complete the construction of the wall on the right side of the cemetery by the end of March. They could not even begin the work by the end of March. One of the main reasons was that the second wave of coronavirus started and all the workers ran away. Their work came to a standstill. Now, gradually, their workers began to come. They slowly began the project. But every now and then I had to go and meet this builder. I one day even went to the extent of saying, I am going to sit on a hunger strike here. I will call the media and so on, because they were not speeding up the project. Meanwhile, unfortunately, Father Jerry also passed away. The other members of the committee also were trying to meet the builder, but things were not picking up. So getting the work done from that builder was extremely challenging. Finally, now they are almost coming to the end of the completion of that wall.
Tell us
So that is
something
one
about,
challenge.
Tell us something about so many graves which have been displaced over there. I'm sure that would have been a lot of challenges, a lot of people coming and telling you about that. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, so the first challenge was this whole agreement with the builder. The second challenge was during the second wave of COVID-19, so many Catholics in Ahmedabad also passed away.
True.
And initially, many were buried in our cemetery. And during that time, many of our own workers also left the cemetery work. they were very scared. So to continue this work in the midst of this pandemic was extremely challenging. The second challenge. The third challenge is what you mentioned just now. Now to complete this project, we had to touch upon many, many graves. I tried to be as open as possible. Whenever some graves have to be disturbed, we try to inform the parish priest. I try to take photos of those graves and inform different WhatsApp groups. They were mixed reactions. Some were very supportive. Some have even questioned me. A number of times I have received phone calls threatening me. Not threatening me, but questioning me, and this should not have been done and so on. But finally, I felt that they will accept the project because it is for the well-being of the whole community.
Sure.
So although there were difficulties and challenges, finally, I think the people have approved. I must also add, even now, some more graves are being disturbed. I am afraid that they may again question me. But I pray for them. I pray to God that we can more or less complete this project as early as possible. So that was the third kind of a challenge. Fourthly, for me, personally speaking, to go to the cemetery almost every day since the last 7 months was also very, very challenging. I have, as I mentioned, other responsibilities.
True.
So to go on a daily basis to the cemetery, I was also getting physically, psychologically, and emotionally a little tired.
Come at the hour, come at the man.
Yeah.
And that was really great. Tremendous amount of work that you have put in yourself over there. Talking about the pandemic, it has changed rules even for the dead. Because of the paucity of the place available for burial, people are yet not open to the idea of cremation. What is your take on this, Father?
So let us try to understand this question in its context. So during the second wave of coronavirus, many persons who passed away because of corona were buried in our cemetery. Then I personally began telling the bishop and the other priests that we cannot have so many burials in our cemetery in this kind of a situation because there is no place and
There's
the
more
work
than
is going on.
450 burials of corona cases in our cemetery.
But that is not true.
That's not true. That's what
not-
I had heard.
No, that is not true.
Okay.
So that number is exaggerated.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number, but in a number of people were buried there. Then I told the bishop that we have to do something. I began to tell also the other parish priests that we have to slowly advocate cremation. Now, this whole idea of cremation is not very popular among many Catholics.
True.
Personally speaking, earlier I was also against cremation. But today the Catholic Church allows cremation.
Okay.
So legally speaking, canonically speaking, cremation is allowed.
Okay.
Practically speaking, cremation is much better than burial, keeping in mind ecology and so on. And thirdly, for our context, because there is no place in a cemetery, cremation was the only option at that point of time.
True.
But slowly, I think people are now accepting the idea of cremation. And we can do it in a very decent, in a spiritual manner. It is possible to do it. Slowly, people are accepting the idea of cremation. And secondly, now many are asking me, when are you going to install a crematorium in our cemetery?
Yes, there has been those questions. I
Yes.
was about to ask that. Good that you brought about. Tell us, is there any provision of a crematorium that can be in place at the cemetery?
So theoretically speaking, a crematorium is good. But before that, we have to do a lot of homework.
True.
First, the idea of cremation has to be properly understood and explained to the people. Let this idea be bought by the people. Having done that, in other words, a lot of conscientization. Having done that, we can eventually think of a crematorium. But that again is very complicated.
There
First
would
of
be
all,
some
it is
legal-
very expensive. Permission will be very difficult.
True.
We need high density electric connection. Is the Catholic community in Ahmedabad prepared for a crematorium at this point of time? It's easy to suggest. How many burials that we will have in a crematorium? In Ahmedabad, maybe 1 or 2 per day. That is not enough for us to sustain a crematorium. Then eventually we may have to open it to other communities. All that is very complicated. So ideally speaking, the idea of a crematorium is good, but that will take a lot more time for us to work on it.
Okay. What is your take on the family graves which are there? There are lots of graves which are many, many years old over there, still lying. what would you suggest people to do?
Personally speaking, it is not fair. This is personally speaking, it is not fair that we allow some people to have their family graves while others are denied of that. Now, we do have many family graves right now. Personally speaking, I feel that all of them should be gradually asked to take the mortal remains and put in the niches that we have prepared. There has to be a sense of equality in dealing with this kind of an issue. Because someone has been having a family grave and he or she has spent a lot of money, we cannot be partial towards them. We have to follow a sense of equality. So
Absolutely.
eventually, I believe now that we have created about 750 niches,
True.
every grave which is more than 5 years old should be encouraged
Very true.
to remove the mortal remains and put in the niches.
Okay, tell something about the do's and don'ts going forward that has to be done at the cemetery.
Yeah. So right now, what we are doing is the first part of the whole renovation project. The second part, I think, is to create a system.
True.
I am not saying there was no system. If at all there was a system, that system was not properly followed, due to which there were a lot of conflicts.
Very true.
The caretaker family often had conflicts with the people. People would come and shout at them. So there was no proper system. The first important thing after we bless the cemetery is to create a proper system. What will be that system is to be discussed along with the lay people and the priest. Secondly, I believe that we need to form a committee consisting primarily of lay people who can maintain and take care of the cemetery.
True.
And thirdly, I think people have to be educated as to how to go about in the cemetery. Even now when you go, people throw rubbish everywhere they throw.
Very
And that is not fair. So people have to be educated as to how to maintain the cemetery. So these are some of the things that we need to work upon. And finally, I think if many graves are removed, the mortal remains are kept in the niches, then we will have a lot of
Lots of
space.
space.
Then we can create pathway.
Very true.
And
Very
that
true.
will make mobility much more easier for us.
Very true. What was your experience working with Joyce Construction?
Amazing experience. I think a lot of credit for this project will go to Francis Lobo.
Yeah, he's a guy, Goankar, who is not Susekad. He keeps everybody on toes from 9 to 5.
For me, he is not a normal builder. He is not there for money. Now, he did not know me.
Absolutely.
He met me just, let's say, a few days before I proposed this project to Father Jerry. But the moment I heard about Francis Lobo and the work that he had done in Raigad Church, somewhere again a voice within me told me, this is the right person. So I discussed with him. He was very supportive. And from the time we began this work, he has been there. Corona, no corona. He was there for the last 7 months every day. And it is not easy to be in the cemetery every day. I shared with you my own struggles. It has not been easy at all, but he was there. And while the work is going on, if there is a burial happening, Francis is there to support. So without Francis Lobo and this Joyce Construction, I think this work would not have really taken shape.
Yes, I had a look at it, a very splendid amount of effort that he and his team has put over there. Well, thank you so much, Father. As we begin to wrap up this session, I'm once again very, very thankful for all the time that you have taken. What you have done is going to stand for generations who are going to be benefited. We applaud you for your efforts and applaud you for this. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. While signing off, if you have anything that you want to say to your audience by way of suggestions or questions, you can please do that
Yes.
now.
My deepest gratitude to our Bishop Ratnaswamy, all the priests, all the nuns, and the entire laity of Ahmedabad. Without your support and cooperation, it would have been impossible to carry forward this very, very difficult project. I am not taking any other personal name because I am afraid that I will miss out. But a big gratitude to the entire Ahmedabad Catholic community, priests, nuns, and our Reverend Bishop. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Father Josh Panadan. Thank you so much for what you have done for the community. So on behalf of everybody, I sincerely appreciate and applaud what you have done. I also want to thank Father Saji and Father Devasya of Gurjarvani and the entire team of Gurjarvani for making this possible for us. Thank you so much. And for you viewers, thank you for all your support and your encouragement. Looking forward to see you once again. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.
जीवन ज्योत जगावो प्रभु हे, जीवन ज्योत जगावो, जीवन ज्योत जगावो प्रभु हे, जीवन ज्योत जगावो।